God bless you, my brothers and sisters. This is Pastor Robert here, and I'm so excited that you've joined us for another time of discussion about what's going on. I'm starting this series talking about the Catholic Church and the Church of God. I'm going to do a comparative analysis. I'm going to break this up into several series, several parts, so it doesn't get old, boring, and monotonous. And before we get started, I want you to go to down below there and like, subscribe, and share this video. Share it with about 3 or 4 different people. Give some thumbs up, give some hearts, whatever it is, on whatever social media site you're on. I definitely want you to pass this around, and we want to hear your feedback. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about this because I'm going to take my time and walk through this for the next few moments. Because as we know, recently the Catholic Church has been involved in yet another scandal. A scandal to where there has been in Pennsylvania, the state, the diocese of Pennsylvania, where they had 1,000 boys over the course of 70 years that were sexually molested by around 300 priests. My. And this child sex trafficking and this child molestation and pedophilia, and YouTube's probably going to flag me for this, but since I said the word, but this pedophilia has gone rampant. But the one thing I can say, if you haven't noticed, in the last year and a half, there have been thousands that are being arrested. There was Operation Duval there recently in Duval County in Jacksonville, Florida, where they arrested men for trying to have sex with underage kids. Every once in a while over here in Polk County, Florida, Sheriff Grady Judge, shout out to him, will arrest, they'll have a sting where they will do that. And then even in Atlanta recently, in California, in one day, they arrested over 400 and some odd men that were trying to have sex or had some type of child sex trafficking sting going on with even as kids as young as 8 months old. It's sick. It's sick. Now you say, so the Catholic Church, and then what has happened is one of the former ambassadors to the Vatican, who's highly respected, who has been a whistleblower previously to these type crimes and atrocities, he recently wrote a letter stating that the current Pope was aware of a lot of this and other places. Now, here's the thing about what's so interesting, because the Pope has not really denied knowing, but there was one bishop, Archbishop, that was here in the United States, I think in Washington, who the previous Pope, the one who they sent home, he actually defrocked him because he just had tons and tons of scores of boys molested, and what they were doing, they kept moving him around from different dioceses and not letting that diocese know that he was struck again, and then they would move him again and cover it up, pay the families off, the whole 9 yards. Well, he was defrocked. Now, this current Pope, I think it was on Pope Benedict, now this current Pope, he ended up restoring this priest's right, this bishop's rights back into the church. Now, he claims he did not know why he was defrocked and lost all his privileges in the first place, but this bishop that wrote, this ambassador rather, that wrote this letter has refuted that. And so just in case you have not seen it or heard about it, if you listen to a lot of foreign media, there is a call, even though it's not really in their bylaws, for lack of a better term, there was a call for the Pope to resign because there has been a lot of covering up. Now, you say, well, what's that have to do with the Church of God, Cleveland, Tennessee? I'm glad you asked. Before we get there, there's something called RICO, R-I-C-O. It's called the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. The RICO Act, commonly referred as the RICO Act, or simply RICO, is a United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts performed as a part of an ongoing criminal organization. Now, as we know that this has been going on in the Catholic Church for years and years and years, and a lot of it comes out. And understand, the Vatican is a sovereign state. It's a sovereign nation. So there is a call now for the Vatican to be criminally prosecute as a sovereign nation, take their sovereignty away, seize their bank account, so on and so forth, because a lot of the money that has been used, I'm going somewhere, has been used to pay people off, to hush people up about these atrocities. Now, let's go over to the Church of God, who's an organization that's well over 70 years old, over 100 years old. But I would say in the last 70 years in the Church of God, there's also been that type, definitely not on the level of the Mother Church, the Catholic Church, but there's been quite a bit of sexual claims of sexual assault, money laundering, illegal hush money payoffs, pedophilia, and the like. Now, again, not on the level of the Catholic Church, but here's where we got to get to. Does it matter when you talk about molesting children, boys or girls, or that type of thing? Does it really matter the level or the quantity? The fact that it happens and someone in authority knows, and then they allow it to be swept under the rug, is the crime in and of itself. Back in the 90s, when President Bill Clinton was the special prosecutor, Ken Starr was finding a needle in a haystack, and he was found out with Monica Lewinsky and the whole 9 yards. He lied under oath about what he did. Now, what he did with Monica Lewinsky was actually not a crime. Immoral, maybe. Absolutely. But a crime, no. But it's because he perjured himself, he lied under oath, that's where he ended up getting impeached, but not removed from office. So it wasn't the issue of the crime, but a lot of times it's the cover-up, which is as bad or worse than the crime. Now, my brothers and sisters, there's been a lot that has been covered up in the Grand Old Church of God, just like in the Catholic Church. And there's been a lot of payoffs. There's been hush money paid. There are people, some of them are youth now, some of them are adults now, some of them in their grave, who have committed these type of atrocities. Sexual molestation, money laundering, selling and mortgaging church property and taking the money. There have been even pastors who have mortgaged churches and took the money for their own self and left the church or whatever the case, and left the church there having to pay the mortgage. But the money's not there. And for some reason, there's always been these cover-ups. Shh. You see people raise a fit about it, you hear about it, then all of a sudden, shh, you don't hear anymore. But there's not been a civil suit. There's not been any criminal charges. Why? Hush money. Now, it's been covered up. But one of the things that I've been saying with this whole situation here, with the Church of God Florida Cocoa office, because I want to let everyone know that there are, Cleveland, Tennessee, and Florida Cocoa, there are documents out there. Now, what I'm reporting, what I'm talking about tonight, has been reported to me. Now, some documents I have seen, some documentation I've been made aware, but there are some leaked documents out there. There are some public documents and public records, you just gotta find them. There are letters to corroborate these things. There are emails, text messages, even pictures. All these things being uncovered, discovered, turned over, released, and possibly even posted. Some have gone to legal counsel. Let me give you an example. There's a church in Florida, Cocoa office, where the old church was being rented by a church, and they had to have insurance on it. This is what's been reported to me. And during the hurricane last year in 2017, there was some damage done. And so what happened was they had to file a claim with FEMA and all that, the insurance company and all that kind of stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been almost a year now since that hurricane, if not a year, actually. And a check was sent for the claim from the insurance company. However, it was reported to me that the church that filed the claim, that's renting it from a Church of God there, has not gotten the check. Hadn't seen the check, which means they can't do the repairs. If they do not do the repairs within a certain time period, they default on it, and then the building is going to be condemned. Now, it's been reported to me that the check, this mysterious check, has been deposited. This check was in response to an insurance claim filed because of a damage from hurricane. And the check was allegedly deposited, or cash, whatever you want to call it, before the sudden demise of the most recent pastor of that church there in Sebring. However, the funds of those checks, it's been reported, have not sufficiently been located. Now, after the previous pastor passed suddenly, massive heart attack, the church was then under the care, the pro tem pastor of the church, of the state administrative bishop. However, it's been reported to me that the state administrative bishop says he has no clue anything about it. He doesn't know anything about the sale of the building, or potential sale, and doesn't have any information about a check, the insurance check, doesn't have any information about whatever conversation was going on between the previous pastor, the deceased pastor, and the pastor that was renting. However, it's been reported to me that there's some text messages and some emails and some phone calls and some documentation that say something else. The church there, Sebring, still does not have, well, actually doesn't have a pastor. Well, I'm told they just got a pastor. This is September. This happened, February, March when the previous pastor died. So they've been, 6 months without a pastor. So somebody was running things. But those funds have not been sufficiently located. The members don't know where it is. Some say it's in the church's account. The people the church that filed the claim, that's supposed to get the money fixing the building, they don't have it. Some say, well, does the state office have it? Don't know. Some say that the previous pastor that's deceased, did he have it? I don't think so, but then again, dead men can't testify. It's like that Jerry Maguire movie with Tom Cruise, show me the money. So what needs to happen? There needs to be a forensic audit done on the state office. Because all through the years, there have been pastors that have done things, and the state covered it up and paid some people off to shut them up. That's a fact. I could call names, but I wouldn't. But what we have here is the same thing as the Catholic Church, cover-ups, payoffs. There have been preachers in the state who have been accused of sexual assault and rape and all this type of stuff. And instead of them being defrocked or demoted or excommunicated, as the previous bishop likes to do, they've been moved to another church. They've been promoted. And nobody says a word. There's a church down in Hallandale that some property that the church owned, allegedly it was reported to me, has been sold. But the church members didn't know anything about it. Still trying to find out about it. But the money's not in the church account. I don't think the current pastor that was around when it was sold, does he have it? I don't think so. He's a fine gentleman. The church doesn't have it. Does the state office have it? I don't know. Show us the money. But again, the state administrative bishop said he don't know anything about it, but it's been reported to me that he authorized whatever the transaction was for whatever amount that we don't even know. And then we have our folks there at West Palm Beach. You know the story. And what I need you to do is go to GoFundMe.com/Church of God, Spiritual Revolution, make a donation, sow a seed right now. It's going to them. I get nothing from it because Hallandale, Sebring, West Palm Beach, and some other churches even there in Orlando. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, yeah. Need to come together. Put their resources together, and you can help with that. And start making some demands. There is no reason why. Listen, people got mad when Nike made Colin Kaepernick their spokesperson for the new campaign, 30th anniversary campaign. And people start burning their shoes and their Air Jordans, all that kind of stuff. So they're a for-profit company. So if people get mad because they spent their money willingly or for a for-profit company that can do what they want to do. What do you think for a non-profit organization, a church, and they give you money, they can't get a financial report. They don't know where the money's going. They don't know what's happening. They don't know what is going on. Put your resources together. Church of God, Spiritual Revolution, and GoFundMe.com. Sow a seed. Because it's time now for that spiritual revolution. It's time for some answers to be given to those questions. This is part one. The Catholic Church is covered up. The Church of God is covered up. Pay people off. It's time out. It's that season now. When we come back, we're going to deal with some more. My contact information is below, so I'd like to share this. I want to hear from you. If you want to contact me, the contact information is there. Let's get this going. Let's get this spiritual revolution going. Amen.